penalty. This is that's what this debate is about. Okay. I'm just curious. Anybody here prefer not to be on camera? You. Neither of you would like to be on camera. All right. Well, now I'll just turn it this way then. Yeah. Thanks for that. I mean, that's kind of weird. You ladies don't care about being on camera?
I don't care.
Okay. Good. That's fine. You don't want it. Okay, I think nobody does, so I think I'll be the whole video will just be
There.
Will just be covered up. It will just be audio only. It looks like. Okay, that's fine. All right. For those of y'all listening on the internet, this is a debate about the merits of the death penalty. This team over here, Team 3, they're going to be arguing. Yes, we should. Abolish. Yeah, making the case that we should abolish the death penalty. This team over here is not making the case that prisoners should go free. That's not what you're saying, right? Penalty, which is life imprisonment usually, and other ones too, other alternatives. This case is these folks over here are making a case that no, we should not ban or abolish the death penalty. Now, making again, not saying that we should kill as many people as possible. Not necessarily saying that. No. I just want to make it clear before we even start. There is a very heated debate and a legitimate debate to have about this. So, y'all have 7 minutes. Yeah, I want to tell. Fewer eyeballs now, huh? You're welcome. Fewer eyeballs.
Yeah, that helps.
I understand the intimidation. Okay.
Okay. Why should the death penalty abolished? Death penalty is a very controversial topic, and we are going to provide you 5 punctual reasons why the death penalty should be abolished. The first one is morality and ethics. Nobody has the right to decide who lives and who dies. Nobody has the power to decide who is a good person and who is a bad person. We don't know the background of all the people. We don't know what they have suffered in the past, and we don't have any right about their life. Other reason is mental issues. Many of inmates are people who have mental issues because they never got the treatment, the health treatment, and they suffer issues like schizophrenia, or they have mental disabilities such as autism, and they look like a normal people, but they have any disability or any mental issues, and we don't know because the system health doesn't work very well. A studies of Dr. Wayne Atkins, a psychiatrist of United Kingdom, and this doctor worked in psychiatrist hospitals and said nobody is born evil. The experience who have the people makes the people who they are. But nobody is born evil, and most of the people who are in a psychiatric hospital have the possibility of redemption and rehabilitation. But this is always if the people have the willing to change their life. If the people acknowledge they made a bad thing, and they needed a real willingness to change their life. And now Natalie continue with the other reason.
Thank you. Our other reasons are risk of judicial errors. Sometimes there are errors in the judicial system, and society pressure is very high, and judge or jurors make decisions with inconsistent evidence. Also, there is ineffective deterrent. You know what I mean with deterrent?
Mm-hmm.
That is like to prevent or stop the crime. Past studies haven't been able to prove that the penalty reduces the crime rates. Increasing the severity of punishment is ineffective because criminals know little about the sanctions for specific crimes. Like, well, even us, we don't know, like, sometimes what are the sanctions to go to death penalties. And lastly, we have a lot of discrimination. So death penalty is most of the time discriminatory, is disproportional, and it hands this penalty to people of color or that are poor or that are immigrants. And they could have been innocent people, and they like after the death penalty, they are exonerated of what they supposedly did. You know what is exonerated? And those are our points.
That's it? Alright, sounds good. Alright, good. Yeah, we'll stop it there for a second. Nice, yeah, give her a hand, everybody. Woo, alright, so, oh, nice. I'll give you all feedback in just a moment. I'll have 7 minutes, and here you go.
So I think we have the most sensitive topic ever in the class.
Yeah, you do.
Because we're gonna talk about lives. It's very hard to talk about this subject, like even like judge and with many experience of like studying and this, it's not evident to decide about somebody like if he has to live or he has to die. It's very, very, very sensitive. So, but on other hand, like we have also innocent people, they were killed. And these innocent people, they didn't ask to be killed. They have like moms, they have dads. You can find like orphan kids because they have criminals who decide one day to wake up and just to kill people, just to kill them for no reason. So, first of all, before we talk about the balance of justice, we're gonna talk about statistics, why we should not abolish the death penalty. For example, in the 90s, the death penalty was very high, okay? It was like about 300 execution a year, okay? And the crimes was around 25,000 to 30,000 a year. People were killed. So the death penalty was very high because the crimes was high. Then when the judges or the people who decide about that, like they increased the death penalty. So when we passed to the last few years, for example, in 2023, the execution decreased because the crime decreased. When people they say like in the 90s, like the crime, the execution was very high. People get scared. They say, oh, if I'm gonna kill somebody, for sure I'm gonna be killed. You know. But when this strategy, it was working because the execution was high. Then after the years, the execution get less because the crime get less. For example, in 2023, the crime decreased into 20,000 people killed, around 20,000 people killed compared to the 90s was above 25,000 people killed. So that's one of the reasons that we should keep the death penalty because nobody wants to live in a country or city who is not safe. We don't need to be killed. We don't have to be scared. Like if we are in our home or if we have our kids playing in the backyard or wherever, and we're gonna find out, That's one of the reasons. Second reason, do we think about justice of the family? Do we think about the victims family. They have
anything, and the Supreme Court didn't have like an exact explanation of why they were giving him the names of that crime. Didn't want him to be killed. So not all victims will like their criminals to be killed because they prefer life uh, instead of like death. Um, um, so this case was very controversial also because they sentenced him just because of what witnesses told him, told the court, and they made up a story just to have the money, the reward money, and also for personal motives that they have against him. We also think that, I understand that in your country maybe it's just 25 years, but we talk about like other options that could be like, okay, you don't have to decide, or a judge cannot decide if with just 50% of evidence or not evidence or just witnesses, they can just with that 50% decide, okay, we're gonna kill this guy. So what we think is that they should be in jail for the rest of their life, but they cannot decide when are they gonna be. We also research that we can avoid these expenses for like everybody if we have good education system and we have good mental health treatment. So instead of need to rehab the criminals in jail, we can rehab them before because of what Ali said, that they could have had bad experiences, abuse, and things like that made them evil.
I'll let you all say something if you want. Yeah.
For the first argument, what was his name?
Marcel.
Marcellus Williams.
Yes, his case was sad story, yes, but it doesn't mean we should abolish the death penalty. For example, just imagine we don't have death penalty and he's still innocent, so he just going to be sentenced like lifetime in prison. Still, he is the victim. We need to, in this case, like we need to change some jury system. In my country, we don't have jury duty or etc. But in here, everyone is getting this duty. Maybe they should put some wiser people to make such decisions, especially for when it comes to death penalty. I mean, you can put someone in that duty who already traumatized by some crime or something else, you know. So we can change this system instead of we fully abolish this. Abolish the death penalty.
Okay.
And if you want the system.
I want to say something too.
like it's very rare that we can find mistake in justice. That's why they had some cases like this for sure. So that's why we keep the prisoner in jail for a long time before the death sentence, to have more evidence and to have more proofs. For example, they have some prisoners, they stay more than 20 years in jail before they get executed. So at that time, we're gonna have more evidence. And this last year, the technology changed a lot and evolved a lot. So all the stuff with the DNA and all we're gonna have more proof. So maybe that's why we keep them in jail longer than we don't make a mistake and kill maybe somebody who is innocent. Other thing I was thinking, for example, about the guy that you talked about it, he was innocent. They have some cases like this, yes. But when they get out, yeah, for sure, it's not gonna give him his 10 years of freedom, for sure. But when when he gets out from the prison, they afford him everything he needs, like the health, the psychologist, they're gonna give him, and if you see, I saw some documents about people who were in jail and they were innocent, and when they get out from the prison, they are like millionaire, because they give them, yeah, that's true, because they give them a big amount of money. For sure, it's not their freedom, it's not their 10 years or more maybe of freedom, but they can at least live comfortably after this suffers.
Cool. All right. Hey, let's give him a big hand, everybody. So yeah. So, I'm just curious. I'm sorry. Did y'all want to make any more points? No.
Well, I agree with you that now they are more technology and there is more proof, but there's a lot of corruption still in the judicial system. For example, this guy was sentenced in 1998. They discovered that the DNA was not his in 2001, and still this year in September they killed him. So.
Wow. So I'm just curious, not knowing that you all got put in your roles randomly. Did you end up being put in the team that you personally agree with, or are you a little bit
At the
conflicted?
beginning, I was like, no, I don't want the abolishment of, like I was on their side.
Oh yeah.
When we started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then we were both in that side. And then we started like reading and searching, and we were like, oof, well, now I don't know.
I was really surprised because y'all made a pretty compelling case for it. Yeah. I mean, actually, you're reciting a lot of the things you saw on the internet that other people that have made that case. Yeah.
Yeah.
The main. And well organized, I was going to say too. I like that you brought in both two different personal examples of criminals, because we're thinking about this issue. We're usually thinking about the victims, and we forget sometimes victims are wrongly accused.
It was also surprising to see that the victims didn't want them to be killed.
That happens sometimes.
Because sometimes we are like, no, I want him killed,
Yeah.
But in these
Usually that's the
cases,
case.
it was like, oh, this is interesting.
The thing about the economic burden, nice, you're putting that in there. Yeah, we're gonna, yeah, right. On tax, I'm sorry, I'm just curious. Well, were you put in the team that you personally agree with, Daphne? Yeah. Oh, you too? Okay, yeah. We want to preserve the death penalty for its. Yeah, okay, and more. So I can see that you all were even improvising at the end to personally respond to one another. So, anyhow. Anybody want to make a comment or question to the? Yeah.
I have just one question, but don't worry, it's very easy. It's just yes or no, just curious. Yeah, it's just that. Thinking of a better jury, thinking of you have all the proofs. Let's imagine that a person, man, woman, whoever, abuses your kid, son or daughter, 10-year-old, and then cruelly kills him or her. Will you want the the death penalty to happen? Would you want this person to die, or would you prefer to keep them in jail and paying with your taxes for his food and roof and everything? Just yes or no. Curious.
Question, but anyway, yeah. I don't know. Sure, you're posing that to them. Yeah.
I think that is a really hard question to answer. Still.
That's why just yes or no.
But if I'm like putting on my shoe.
Yeah, like imagine that's happening.
Your situation. In their shoes.
If I'm putting myself in their shoes, I will want him to suffer as much as he could. But maybe, what if they kill them just with an injection and he doesn't suffer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So he goes in peace to, I don't know if heaven or whatever. But
He will
doesn't
suffer. He will suffer before the.
I want him to be
Natalie,
softer.
he will suffer before the injection. Trust me.
Honesty, that's good. You're making your case. Yeah.
He will suffer
Yeah,
before the
just be
injection.
honest.
Trust me.
Good.
You know what happened to the rippers at jail? What about you, Ale?
The same.
I mean,
Sure, sure,
I
sure.
think that the penalty is not a real punishment because the people died and after that, what else?
Yeah.
They have been criminals that commit suicide in jail,
Yes.
and they don't suffer what you want them to suffer.
so would you like to accomplish? You would like them and go out and do it again?
But
You-
not
you-
go out. I mean, I would
Yeah,
like
it's-
him
it's
to
Who
not-
knows? There's a
back
good.
there.
How do you say? How do
I
you say
feel
buen
him.
comportamiento?
No, there's
Good behavior?
life
Good
imprisonment
behavior,
without
maybe.
there is life imprisonment without possibility of parole.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
that's there.
So you want him to
parole,
suffer, okay?
Yeah.
And
Parole
you.
is like the possibility of.
I have the
there are some
solution.
cases where.
What about you?
You don't have possibility. Go ahead, TJ. You want to weigh in? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What is the
Daphne,
solution?
what about you?
Esmeralda say that
Of course.
if someone
Okay.
raped my daughter, and what I want that person it's easy. She said that the death penalty could be no good suffering to the criminal. It's easy. Let me kill that person and put me the injection.
Oh. I see. So you would prefer instead of the state
You can
leaving-
be sure that he will suffer a lot.
Hey,
okay.
see, that's a father thought.
Oh, I got
That's
it.
a dad, like a real dad thought.
Let the parents do them however you like, and then you could be executed, is what you're saying.
With no
But
pain.
with the injection.
But peacefully, I understand. I mean, if you're doing this, you're offering this voluntarily, I think is what your point is. Okay, what's on your mind, man?
I split in pieces.
Oh my gosh.
So I know in English there's a word, it's called affluenza. So the word means affluent is from influence. Enza is mean like a disease. So this word was used to describe a teenagers who killed a persons and got released because of the family that he was raised in was rich. And they thought that with money you can escape with. And so it brings me the thought to both panels that if a teenager kills somebody because of that kind of thing, should it be a penalty because of the race? It was raised by the parents, or was by his, I don't know, his intentions.
Hey, go. You're looking at me. Did you want to say something, sir? Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I have a question. The one who you love had a mental problem and they kill somebody. Do you agree that he needs to pay for his life?
No, actually, if the person has really like heart mountain, because they have a lot, they pretend to have a heart mountain, just to avoid the death penalty and
No,
to.
I mean that before it, he already had a recondition. Maybe he in and out of mental hospital or some kind of thing. And then now he killed somebody. Do you agree?